Hello, welcome to the dollhouse. I am the doll, and I am just sitting on my patio, reveling in the latest internet gossip and drama between Ice Spice and her former so-called friend, Cleotrapa. And, the usual narratives have emerged. Of course, Ice Spice is colorist, colorist undertones. Ice Spice is just evil, and then Cleotrapa is jealous, and she's a bum, and there are lessons to be learned for the dolls. No matter who you empathize with, neither one of them are right, and neither one of them are wrong. Both of them have messed up, and both of them still have things that they're doing that align with the 48 laws of power. There are two things that I see in this whole debacle that are definitely evident. They have both violated rule number 2, which is never put too much trust in friends and learn how to use enemies. And Cleotrapa, she violated rule number 1, never outshine the master. So it's hard enough to be friends as a woman as it is, because women have a natural competitive energy between them, and that's just nature. There's really nothing wrong with it. Only recently has it become villainized or ignored that it's just a natural thing that can be fun. Beauty pageants used to be fun, but it's been perverted, and now everyone's jealous. And I watched a little bit of Cleotrapa's TikTok videos that were compiled, and I'm going to respond to some of the things she said.
I've never been around this girl for more than 10 hours. Anytime I hung out with her, it was something very small, a small gathering, a small event. It was video shoots, you know what I'm saying? It never was chilling in the crib, face not done, chilling. You get what I'm saying? Like on some real friend shit. That's why I kind of got annoyed when a lot of people thought he was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, oh, but it was like, we were still cool. Like, that was still my girl, bro. I met you a month before that video. I didn't even know you was Nigerian. So that was kind of weird to me, too, that she was upset at me for not knowing if she was Nigerian. And she said that you could have at least said I was black. Like, girl, I didn't even know you. Am I your PR? Am I supposed to be clearing up every time somebody's asking about you being black or Nigerian? Like, that's not my role.
So on the one hand, Cleotrapa says that she knew Ice Spice for just a short time, maybe a month before some interview video came out, and then 2 years prior, and they never hung out one-on-one or never hung out in private. It was always in a public setting, and not for more than 10 hours. But Ice Spice invites her on her tour. And this is one thing that I would recommend. Don't put too much trust in friends, especially with your business. And both of these women were in business with one another. Really, they entered into a business relationship that was not well defined. It was very casual, and one person felt like they were friends, and the other person felt like maybe her boundaries were being crossed. So all of the drama that happened between them could have been laid out between them in a contract before. It doesn't sound like they had any clear contractual expectations, like, who's carrying bags? Where will you be sleeping? Who is paying for the cost of your travel? Will you always be on a tour bus? Will you be in a hotel room? Who's paying for that? Will there be someone there to assist you with anything? Just knowing the expectations. That's where they went wrong. They violated the law number 2. Never put too much trust in friends. But they both mastered the second part of that, which was learn how to use enemies. Because here you go, you have Cleotrapa using this experience to gain social media attention. I never knew her name before today. I never knew anything about her before today. And then, Ice Spice learned how to use your enemies. As Cleotrapa said, maybe she got that opportunity because of Ice Spice's falling out with her ex-best friend, Baby Storm. And she got that opportunity because it looks good as a home girl to be hanging out with. And yeah, Ice Spice used basically somebody that was an enemy. And listen, enemy until proven friend. That's kind of how it is in life, secretly. Friend until proven enemy, sure, but also enemy until proven friend. You have to show me that you are worthy of my trust before I can consider you more than an acquaintance or a business relation. And it sounds like they were really acquaintances. Kind of cool, kiki from time to time. And then she got on Ice Spice's tour bus and was laid up back there in the Queen Bee suite with the Queen Bee. And the Queen Bee was like, baby, I want some alone time. You need to go back to the servants' quarters. So it's just, you have to be realistic when you're dealing with business. And that's all I'm going to say about that. In one breath, she says that she spent less than 10 hours with Ice Spice. And then in the next breath, she says that we're friends. We're supposed to thug it out on tour together. I think she may have been confused because one person on tour that she was invited to support, one of the people is the star, and there is no thugging it out on the same level. Yes, being on tour, you're kind of thugging it out, but you definitely want to go into situations not expecting anything. Expect nothing. It was definitely a situation where they had a silent power struggle. And Ice Spice had more power in the situation. And if she wanted to remain on tour, she needed to say less than necessary. And she did that. Cleotrapa, you said less than necessary. And you used your enemies because you stayed on tour with her. And you secretly were seething at how you were being treated. However, you're calling her a fake friend, but you stayed on tour with her. In her air and in her presence when you, like you said, you could have gone home. You have a boyfriend at home. You've got obligations. You got brand deals. You got all this stuff. But you stayed. So, kudos to you for getting the exposure, and now you're getting your story out, and now your name is known. So I do also think that, honestly, you didn't really plan this, but you can take from it and pivot and use it as much as you can, as much energy as it gives you. But you really put too much trust in the friend situation, especially when you said you really didn't know her. You said that a few times in your video. I don't know you. So you've got to be honest with yourself. You expecting friendship and expecting love from people and for them to care about your comfort is a very dangerous thing to do. For the dolls, don't do that. It's not a good idea. So yeah, don't do that.
So I ended up staying with the hairstylist. She let me stay inside her hotel room. Every city that we went to, I stayed with her, and she was mad nice, and it was so fun with her. Like, it really just gave, like, it was just fun. Like, it felt like how it was supposed to be with Ice, but she's fucking boring. Like, she's boring. She doesn't want to do anything. She doesn't even want to play Uno. Like, she doesn't even want to do anything. The bus rides be bad, boring. It just be boring. So, like, being with her hairstylist really showed me, like, the fun side of the tour. Her hairstylist ended up saying, like, you should stay. You got your fans coming out. You already promoted it yourself. Like, your fans is coming to see you. Do it for your fans. She put that battery in my back to really, like, I had to get my head back on a swivel. Like, yo, like, make this situation what you can make it and just ignore everything else. And at the end of this, you will address her and you will tell her how this situation made you feel. And if she doesn't care, that was never.
So Cleotrapa goes on to mention how the hairdresser tells her that she should stay on the tour, stick it out, deal with whatever perceived bad treatment she's receiving. She overestimated the hairdresser's allegiance to her. And she really shot herself in the foot with that. And that's where this never outshine the master law was broken. Cleotrapa forged a friendship with someone who was definitely not her friend, this hairdresser, who was very likely trying to get closer to Ice Spice and giving her fake information about the vibe that you had with her. And even if she wasn't doing that, it probably rubbed Ice Spice the wrong way, because here you are walking around with an attitude that you think that nobody can perceive because you're hiding it so well, which I highly doubt. You're walking around huffing and puffing, feeling entitled, and then you make friends with somebody and it's just all up in her face, kikiing with the hairdresser. It just, of course, is going to rub the person who brought you all together the wrong way, because she's feeling excluded. And even if it is juvenile, it's certainly a reason to, shun and flex power, shun one of you. She likely needed the hairdresser, but the hairdresser may have shot herself in the foot too by being too cool with you. She may not get booked by Ice Spice again. So, I sense by the end she was reminding all of you that this was her tour bus. This was her tour. And you are there as a support for her, not one another. So learn from this, y'all. Just this is how you subtly outshine the master. If you're going to play the game of friendship and managing relationships and trying to make things work, first of all, you can't take things so personally, okay? But you also have to know how not to step on other people's toes. And obviously, she had been talking about Ice Spice behind her back with the hairdresser, because the hairdresser had to tell her, don't worry about all that. You can stay. Why else would she say that and give her comfort if Cleotrapa wasn't telling her negative things about Ice Spice? She was comforting her because Cleotrapa was telling the hairdresser negative things. That's why she was the one to tell her, just stick it out. Your fans are here to see you. However many they were. She encouraged her to stay and to learn how to use her enemy to advance herself. So, yeah, she was talking behind Ice Spice's back with the hairdresser. And you know what, y'all? All this energy is all around us. Women especially, we can feel when somebody has been talking about us, like how the energy shifts in the room. And if you have command over the room and it's your room, yeah, no wonder you want to kick people out quick. Get on out. Cleotrapa didn't want to leave the tour because she knew how it was to her advantage to stay. But Ice Spice didn't ever address the issues with her, probably because it was also to her advantage not to do so and just to let it run its course. But to also refuse to go above and beyond to accommodate someone who's very obviously talking behind her back. So y'all just learn from this. Another thing that I'd like to point out is how not to respond to perceived slights or the perception of being dissed.
So I didn't want to be turned so bad that I spaz on her. I spaz on her. I swing on her. I'm locked up. You get what I'm saying?
Cleotrapa mentioned that she didn't want to spaz on Ice Spice She was trying to control herself and maintain her poise so that she didn't spaz on her. That's the right thing to do, because spazzing on her, swinging on her would have landed her in jail, just like she said, probably with lawsuits. When you are slighted emotionally and you feel like someone is doing you wrong, definitely keep your hands to yourself, for sure. The easiest thing for her to do would have been just to leave the tour. But she wanted to use that relationship and milk it for what it was worth, because in her perception, it wasn't worth friendship. It definitely wasn't worth friendship. So anyway, dolls, something to learn from. Friendships are fickle. With women, with men, relationships are funny. So our goal here is to master relationships. But I wouldn't put too much trust in friends, especially as you're planning the rest of your life. Never put too much trust in friends and the perception of a community that may not exist. So I hope this makes sense to you all. We'll be talking soon.